North Korea, a nation shrouded in mystery, fear, and curiosity. It's one of the most secretive countries in the world, where time seems to have frozen in the mid-20th century. But how did this nation come to exist? From its origins as a part of the Korean peninsula to its transformation into an isolated, authoritarian state under the Kim Dynasty, today we'll unravel the entire history of North Korea. This journey spans ancient kingdoms, colonial rule, devastating wars, and a family dynasty that reshaped its destiny. Buckle up. This is a story unlike any other. Long before the idea of North Korea existed, the Korean peninsula was home to ancient kingdoms. Around 2333 BCE, legend speaks of Joseon, the first Korean kingdom. Over centuries, dynasties like Goguryeo, Baekje, and Silla fought for control, leaving behind a legacy of art, culture, and innovation. By the late 14th century, the Joseon Dynasty emerged, ruling for over 500 years. It established a strong Korean identity, emphasizing Confucianism, education, and centralized governance. But as the world changed, Korea faced increasing threats from outside powers. In 1910, Korea fell under Japanese colonial rule, a dark period that lasted until 1945. Japan exploited Korea's resources and people, sparking widespread resistance movements. Many Koreans fled abroad, including a young communist named Kim Il-sung, who would later shape North Korea's future. When Japan was defeated in World War II, Korea was liberated but not united. The peninsula was divided along the 38th parallel, with the Soviet Union controlling the north and the United States overseeing the south. This division was supposed to be temporary, but ideological differences quickly deepened. In 1948, two separate governments were established. In the south, the Republic of Korea, South Korea, was led by Syngman Rhee, while in the north, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, North Korea, was formed under Kim Il-sung, backed by the Soviet Union. Kim Il-sung quickly consolidated power, promoting himself as a hero of Korean independence. With Soviet and Chinese support, he transformed North Korea into a communist state, emphasizing self-reliance, or juche. But this new nation didn't want to stay divided for long. In 1950, Kim Il-sung launched a surprise invasion of South Korea, aiming to unify the peninsula under his rule. This marked the start of the Korean War, one of the deadliest conflicts of the 20th century. The United States and its allies intervened on behalf of South Korea, while China and the Soviet Union supported the North. After 3 brutal years, millions of deaths, and widespread destruction, the war ended in a stalemate. The Korean Armistice Agreement created the heavily militarized Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, which still divides the peninsula today. After the war, Kim Il-sung solidified his rule by eliminating rivals and creating a cult of personality. He was portrayed as the great leader, almost godlike, and his ideology of juche became the cornerstone of North Korean life. The government tightly controlled every aspect of life: education, media, and even thoughts. Dissent was not tolerated, and entire families could be punished for a single individual's disobedience. Kim Il-sung's policies emphasized heavy industry and military strength, but by the 1970s, cracks were beginning to show. The economy struggled, and North Korea grew increasingly isolated. In 1994, Kim Il-sung died, and his son Kim Jong-il took over, marking the first hereditary succession in a communist state. Kim Jong-il intensified North Korea's isolation, focusing on military-first policies, Songun, and developing nuclear weapons. The 1990s were catastrophic for North Korea. The collapse of the Soviet Union, coupled with poor agricultural policies and natural disasters, led to a famine that killed an estimated 1 to 3 million people. Despite this, the regime maintained control, using propaganda and fear to suppress dissent. In 2011, Kim Jong-il passed away, and his son, Kim Jong-un, became the leader. At just 27 years old, many doubted his ability to rule. But Kim Jong-un quickly consolidated power, continuing his family's legacy of authoritarian rule. Under his leadership, North Korea has ramped up its nuclear program, conducting multiple tests that have drawn international condemnation. At the same time, Kim has shown a willingness to engage in diplomacy, meeting with leaders like Donald Trump and South Korea's Moon Jae-in. However, these talks have yielded little progress. Today, North Korea remains one of the most isolated and repressive nations in the world. Its people face strict surveillance, limited freedoms, and widespread poverty, while the regime prioritizes military spending and propaganda. North Korea's history is a tale of division, ideology, and the extraordinary grip of one family over an entire nation. While the world outside has changed, North Korea has remained steadfast in its isolation. But the question remains, can a nation built on secrecy and fear survive in the modern era? Will the Kim dynasty hold on to power, or will the tides of change finally reach Pyongyang? What are your thoughts on North Korea's unique and complex history? Is it a testament to the power of ideology, or a cautionary tale about isolation and control? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating stories from around the world. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.